Even though this cheap EV, which is slated to come in at $20,000 or less in the United States within 12 months, isn't made in the United States, apparently because of the price, it will qualify for the $7,500 incentive, meaning this would cost $12,500. I should point out though, it is very small, exceptionally small. A number of sources are saying now that VinFast $20,000 electric car is coming to the United States sometime within the next 12 months. It's called the VF3, and for $20,000, I think it's actually really quite good. Who would have thought this? VinFast, their EVs, they've been highly criticized. The media have said that they're dangerous to drive, some of them, but I think the VF3 could actually be worth your consideration if you're looking for an affordable electric car. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Great to have you. Welcome back, everyone else. VinFast, they had their IPO on the US stock exchange a couple of months ago. Stock price went, of course, really, really high, just the same as it did with Rivian and Lucid, and then really, really low. So, yeah, I hope you didn't get burned on that. I recommend it to people on the channel not to buy into the IPO for that exact reason. It was pretty clear that's what would happen. Now, the stock price is very weird because only a couple of % of the shares are not held by the actual founder of the company. Anyway, VinFast now is breaking ground on a new EV building factory in the United States. It will be its first EV factory in the US, and it's a pretty big deal because it wants to make affordable EVs in the US for US consumers that will qualify for tax credits, meaning this $20,000 electric car could end up costing you $12,500 US. A new one that's seemingly not bad, and in fact looks pretty cool, for $12,500 US. I mean, I'll take 3. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't actually buy any of them, but you know, I still think this is pretty good for the price, and I do quite like the wacky looks. Reminds me a little bit of the Toyota FJ Cruiser, which some say is the weirdest, strangest SUV that Toyota have ever produced. This new vehicle would be VinFast's 5th EV that it plans to release on the US auto market. And its US dealership network apparently are basically begging for the car. The VF3 mini car that's specifically designed for the Vietnamese car market, however, is likely to have a price at or below $20,000 US. Of course, this is not the kind of car that you'd buy for a family. It's more of a car you might buy as your first car. But dealerships across the United States, for VinFast anyway, and other dealerships that want to sell these cars, they're saying to VinFast, guys, there's no affordable EVs other than something like a Chevy Bolt, a Bolt EUV. But of course, they're still a fair bit more expensive than what this will be. We need it here. We want it here. And I know a lot of Americans have said on the channel numerous times, many times you guys have said this, we want cheap EVs here. You guys are getting them now in Australia. Why aren't they coming to America? Well, the chicken tax is the reason why. But of course, if this is made in the United States, it qualifies for incentives, and there's no chicken tax on this as well. The vehicle unveiled in June is a kind of odd looking boxy vehicle. It's 2 doors and it's 10.2 feet long. Despite its diminutive size, it's pretty small. VinFast retailers are urging the brand to, well, start by bringing the vehicle from Asia. So right now they make them in Asia. They don't make them in the US yet. They're saying bring them from Asia. We know they're not going to qualify for incentives, but bring them anyway. And then once they're making them in the US, they'll qualify for incentives. But in the meantime, we still think we can sell them at that price. VinFast is in the process of recruiting dealers across the United States as it shifts from factory direct sales to a hybrid retail model that includes franchised dealerships. I personally don't like this idea, but they believe it will work. The company has held meetings with dealers and received applications for sales from a variety of different states across America. We're discussing with the majority of large, well-established dealers across the US, VinFast said in a statement to Automotive News. The initial feedback has been highly positive, and dealers are showing keen interest in VinFast and our EV model. So in other words, a lot of dealers that just, might be already in your state, already in your local area, they'll just basically take in the VinFast brand and sell their cars through their existing dealerships. The company is researching the demand and potential for the VF3 model in the US. Following many positive responses from dealers, said VinFast. So what kind of car is this? I mean, is it a crossover? Is it an SUV? Is it just a car? VinFast says the body is compact yet tall and robust, providing ample ground clearance and equipped with 16-inch wheels. The exterior design is characterized by bold geometric blocks and strong lines. Now, I like the fact that it comes with smaller wheels. I think it makes a lot of sense. And if you want, you can put a bigger tire on that wheel. VF3 sales in Vietnam are going to start next year. So this vehicle is not even on sale in Vietnam yet, but obviously dealers are seeing them. They're seeing the prices. They're seeing the specs. They're thinking this could sell in the US because it doesn't really have any competition. Despite the discontinuation of other mini A-segment vehicles in the United States, such as the Fiat 500, which is obviously much smaller than this, and the Chevrolet Spark, prospective VinFast dealers want the VF3 to draw buyers looking for a new car priced at around $20,000 US. The company has held 2 meetings with prospective dealers in the past few days, one in Florida and one in Dallas. VinFast actually brought the vehicle to these dealerships to show them the size of it, but it's actually a foam model. It's not the car itself. It's a foam mock-up, which is exactly the same size. So this was to give dealerships an idea of what it looks like and the size of the car. It has, however, taken actual cars to dealerships around the US as well. These include the mid-size VF8, which you can buy right now in California. Should you buy a VF8? No, absolutely not. There's better cars for around that money that you can buy right now in the US. Anyway, VinFast said dealers have gathered, about 100 dealers in fact, who are unanimous in wanting the VF3 for the US market. So 100 dealers, I'm pretty sure that's enough to sway VinFast. In other words, it's basically a foregone conclusion this vehicle will be on sale within the next 12 months in the United States. They liked the whole lineup, but the VF3 got the most attention, almost 100% response from dealers, they said. They really liked the VF3, and the reason is it's probably $20,000 or less. VinFast has not officially announced a price for the VF3, but its larger VF6 starts at $28,000 US in Vietnam, said the automaker. The company has big hopes for the VF3 in the Southeast Asian car market, where it will compete with other Chinese, will compete with Chinese EVs. Of course, VinFast is Vietnamese. With its outstanding advantages of zero emissions, noise-free operation, environmental friendliness, and most importantly, high safety standards, VF3 has the potential to become the new national vehicle for the Vietnamese people, said VinFast. Now, Automotive News has made an interesting comment. They're saying this vehicle it does qualify for the $7,500 EV incentive in the United States, even though it's not made in the US yet. Apparently, because of its price, $20,000 or less, it will still qualify. So if that's the case, you will be able to buy one of these EVs for $12,500 in the US, likely before the end of 2024. So what are the actual specs on this car? How big is it? It's 122.6 inches long, which is 3,114 millimeters. It's very short, right? 3.1 meters long. Now, apparently it has a single motor in the rear. So it's one motor, not a wheel drive, and approximately 300 kilometers or around about just under 200 miles of range. Personally, like I said, it's not a car that interests me, but I know there's a lot of students, a lot of people getting their first car who may think one of these is worth considering. Now, to give you some context here, you can buy similar cars to this in China that are probably a little bit better than this, in fact, for around about $10,000 US. In fact, I've reviewed quite a few of them on the channel. General Motors make one. It's called the GM Mini Bronco. No, I'm kidding. It's not actually a Mini Bronco. It's actually made by Wuling, who is a General Motors partner in China. It's called the Baojian Yep, and it looks really cool. I'm a big fan of it. I really don't understand why General Motors doesn't bring them from China to the US. Now, you might be saying they can't do that. They actually can. That's a load of garbage. People saying that making those comments are completely unfounded by any facts, and those sorts of people really frustrate me. Guys, don't say that cars can't be sold in the US when you don't have any facts to prove that they can't be. I see these sorts of things and it's really annoying. It's spreading false information. But you can bring any car to any country as long as it meets the requirements, and you can basically ensure a car meets requirements by doing some things like adding airbags, adding stability control if it doesn't have the right type of stability control. It is possible to do this. The other thing is low import numbers are often not required to meet certain safety standards. So yeah, actually there are quite a lot of Chinese EVs that you would think can't be sold in Western markets, and all of a sudden they pop up for sale in Western markets, and everyone thinks, hang on a minute, everyone told me that car can't be sold in Europe, but it's on sale. What's going on? Well, yeah. The idea that Chinese cars have no safety is just not true. Anyhow, what are your thoughts on these cheap, affordable Asian-made EVs? Would you consider buying one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.